Yeah, so it's February, 28th?
Yeah.
And you've graciously decided to record, but Dreamlight Valley also finished updating for you.
Yeah.
So you got the new Pixar update? Is that what's going on?
Yes. Are you recording?
I am.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought this would be a fine, small intro. We've got trips coming up. We played Lorcana.
We have trips coming up?
I mean,
no, we don't.
In like
8 months.
In 8 months. But it's funny you should say that because Tracy
Mhm.
Osborne, my coworker,
I
has given
think-
me full
no,
permission.
to use her full
First
name.
and last.
Wow. That's bold. I don't even use my last name.
And her daughter, Taylor. They're going to Disneyland and California Adventure in July?
Oh my
I
goodness.
think.
No, August.
August? Well, all I know is that
It's towards the end of August. I know her daughter's birthday, but I'm not going to say it. Her and I were just IMing about you in details.
yeah, very good. Did she also tell you that she made a paper chain?
No, she didn't.
So it started out sort of cute enough. She was making a paper chain leading up to their trip for their daughter, but 175 links. But yeah, so Tracy created a link and sent us a video of it, and it's 178 links long, I think is what she said. I checked the number. 175.
Okay.
It is, it's Dickensian-esque. Like it felt like it was like Marley's chain
Oh.
for when he was walking around with all the weights of his sins. That's what it looked like. It's a very large chain.
On her? Was she wearing it?
She may as well have been.
Oh.
But she did send a video to the rest of us of it in her house, and it does span the length of at least one room.
Okay.
But they're very excited, and they're staying at the Pixar Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Pixar Pier?
Yes.
And I told her that maybe we should have her on to tell us all about it when she gets back.
Yes. I said the same thing.
Oh, okay. In like 175 days. So that's a ways out.
To all Disney adults and morbidly curious casuals, we proudly present our spectacular festival pageant of theme park ramblings and peculiar opinions in thousands of seconds of average quality sounds of Mice and Matterhorns podcast.
Welcome to Of Mice and Matterhorns, where we revel alongside and reveal the mystery of Disney adults. I'm your host, Daniel.
And I am Shannon.
And today we're going to be taking a look at, recapping our trip, specifically the Disney California Adventure portion of our trip, going over what we did, what we ate, and ending with our top 5 things about DCA.
For this trip or in general?
I think in general, because that's what we did with Universal Studios.
Okay. I am not prepared.
Me neither. I wrote notes for Disneyland, but we're a little short on time, so we're going to be doing DCA because that, I don't think, is going to be as long.
Yeah, because we pretty much, so we got park hopper tickets. I realized the frivolity of getting park hopper tickets.
So you weren't a fan?
We didn't really use them.
Well, I've got one very specific instance when we did use them that we're going to talk about. But
yeah, we're kind of a one park a day person when we have our children.
Now, the oldest and I did use it to get on Guardians of the Galaxy one extra time. But yeah, realistically, we didn't utilize that a ton.
And I tried to use it with our oldest another time to get on Incredicoaster, but our phone didn't have reception, and so I could not get the Fast Pass to show up. So we could not get on it, and we had walked all the way into the park just for that.
Yeah. I like the idea of it, and I think if you're there for a longer time and you're curious about it, it's definitely a better deal than if you're there for fewer days, because you tack on the park hopper to your full ticket. You've got pictures. I've got like a hand-scrawled list here of what we did, so we'll see how it links up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember. Did we? So DCA was after. It was the day after Universal Studios. We made it down there, stayed at the Parkview Inn, which we love. That's been our. But we made it into DCA.
Yes, and I also just want to say that I booked the room a long time ago, and I wanted to get the 3 queen room. And it was already booked by the time we booked. So I got 2 queen and a queen sofa, pull-out sofa. And I was really hoping that the sofa would be comfortable enough for someone to sleep on. And I made you sleep on it one night because you were snoring the entire trip.
Well, those Hilton beds were so comfortable at the last place.
And I was like, I just need to sleep well for one night because I kept waking up to everyone's breathing.
I slept okay on the sofa bed, but it was very creaky, and I was worried I was going to wake you up, even from the other room.
Yep.
This was our first attempt at using magic bands.
Yes.
So all 4 of us had Magic Bands, which is something that
Mhm.
we've never done in the past, but we figured this is a longer trip. We had Genie Plus. It was going to be easier for park entry, potential park hopping, and
Genie
just the
Plus.
Genie Plus
Yeah, lightning
ride
lanes.
system.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really helpful. We were able to get on stuff faster, and then also just for the photo pass opportunities, because we utilized that a lot this trip
Mm-hmm.
as well. They could just scan the band and it was good to go.
So I think we got in shortly after rope drop. I don't think we made it for rope drop. So we got there at least by 8:30 because I know we went straight to Web Slingers and got on that right away because the line was not very long. I think it was like 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So our youngest loves that ride and we're like, yep, let's do it. Then you and our oldest after that went on Guardians because I think you got a Genie Plus for it.
We probably did. That's one that now our oldest and I really enjoy. He did not like it in previous years, but now he really enjoys it.
Yeah. And then the youngest and I were supposed to go on Web Slingers again. And he was like, nope, I don't want to do it. And I was like, what? So we went to the same shop as the November trip where he threw a fit for like 2.5 hours afterwards because he couldn't buy something because he didn't have enough money.
His fits are not like violent and angry. They're very mopey and like, oh, I don't want to do anything.
Yes. He literally will not do anything. So I do eventually just make him do stuff because he just will be like, no, I don't want to do anything. So we go back into that shop and I warned him the day before when we were at Universal, if you buy this power-up pillow thing from Super Mario World, you will not have enough money to buy whatever you want at Disneyland. And he's like, that's fine. I really want this pillow. I'm like, okay. And so we go into that web supplier shop and he, of course, wants the spin costume that costs $60. And I was just like, you spent your money yesterday. You cannot afford this.
And how many Spider-Man costumes does he have at home?
He only has one right now. The other ones he outgrew.
He's got one Spider-Man costume and he's got a ton of Spider-Man clothing.
Yes. Yeah, so we were about to have another mopey day with him and I was like, nope, you spent your money and you are not going to throw a fit. And so him and I just went and ordered breakfast and sat down and ate because I was like, I'm not going to deal with the mopiness and I didn't want him telling me no on a bunch of rides. So we went over to Smoke Jumper's Grill and they have a new breakfast being served there. I don't have it written down actually, but it was a breakfast sandwich that the youngest and I got, and then you got the burrito.
I got the breakfast burrito. Yeah, it was kind of a standard breakfast burrito. Some potatoes in there, meat, eggs.
Yeah, I liked the sandwich. The sauce was flavorful. Our youngest did not like the egg in it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I eventually just took his egg and ate it on my sandwich. It came with seasoned fries, which were really tasty. And then it also had it was just called breakfast cold brew. There is also a Bailey's Irish cream cold brew. And you voted not to get that because it was like $18.
I do make that at home, maybe. I don't know.
So at some
I was
point,
just about to say, dang, we should have got that. And then you said $18, and I thought, all right.
and that is why we didn't.
You
but the
can buy like a
breakfast
whole
cold
bottle of
brew was
Bailey's
good.
for $18.
Yeah, I know. Just pour some into your coffee.
Not that we would endorse that at Disneyland.
No, not at Disneyland. I mean at home. But yeah, so the breakfast was good and it had seasoned fries that our youngest absolutely loved. That's all he wanted to eat. I could barely convince him to eat the sandwich. I think I made him eat a quarter because we split it in half. So I made him eat a quarter of the egg at least. And then his mood improved significantly. So that child is like me. He needs food.
He does need to be consistently fed.
Yeah.
Whereas our other one.
Our oldest, we realized we were
just
out
didn't
somewhere
eat.
and the three of us got food. And our oldest was like, I'll just eat at home. And we're like, okay. And then we got home and completely forgot to feed him and he forgot to eat. And I remembered at like 4:30 and I was like, oh, he never ate. It was on a Sunday. That's what it was.
Man.
And it doesn't faze him. He's just like, yep, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that was a tasty breakfast. And our oldest was really excited about something. And now I can't even remember what. But I remember like he came running in to show me something. And I don't know if it was the picture.
Maybe it was the picture from. Yeah, I think he was excited because he tried Guardians, right? Like he was apprehensive about it a little bit. No, because
he did it in November.
Never mind. I'm getting mixed up again.
Yep.
I don't remember.
We must go on too many trips.
Yeah, these two. I'm getting stuff mixed up too because I did just edit our home video that we make for our last trip. Yeah. So I rewatched almost like all the highlights from our last trip, I have watched 2 or 3 times in the last month.
Yeah.
And so those memories are sort of overriding the ones we most recently had. We do, just to clarify in case I do put this in, our oldest wanted us to start making a home video that I edit that we can watch of our theme park trips. He liked the idea of the YouTubers that taste food and give it ratings. So this is, he was like, hey, we're going to taste food. We're going to rate it. Dad's going to film it and we'll talk about our trip. And it's like, this is a great idea. This is a good way that we can make a fun product that we can watch as a family and see the highlights of our trip. A couple of problems with that. One, our oldest doesn't eat anything. So it was his idea to taste food, and consistently throughout the videos, he does not try things. Specifically, there are many instances of him only eating Pizza Planet. And then trying to get either kid to say anything of substance is like pulling teeth.
Yeah. When they can sit and talk at us for, if we let them, hours about their TV shows. But as soon as we want them to talk to us, they refuse. So we just have to take it when we can get it. Oh, and that was the morning that it rained. I forgot about that. So I am like an over preparer for everything. Thanks, Mom. And so I have brought ponchos and waterproof shoes for me and the kids. Daniel's kind of like, I'm going to wing it.
You're our Eagle Scout, yeah.
But thankfully it stopped raining like by 8:30. So we got to the park. I have a picture, 7:56 as we left our hotel. So we got there just after 8. But it was like 8:30, 8:45. It stopped raining. So then we didn't have to deal with the rest of the day. So that was nice. And we still bring one stroller in. So we're able to store extra stuff. So I never worry it. Like if we take too much stuff, it's fine. I hang a Disney bag off the handle and we just fill it up.
Basically a wheelbarrow for us for the day.
Yep. What are these things called on top? So the cold brew had
Cocoa Krispies?
Cocoa Krispies on top. Yeah, it was good. And then we went on Soarin'.
We did go on Soarin'.
Yep.
We'd been on it before, but I like it. It's fun if we can get on. And the nice thing is you did book Genie Plus for this whole trip, so we were able to utilize a lot of lightning lanes throughout the trip. We were able to get on this one within like 15 minutes. And it would be cool to see Soarin' over California again. I think they only bust that out for the Food and Wine Festival,
which is starting here shortly.
Right in March sometime?
Sometime in March, yeah.
We've never been.
I think it's this weekend.
I'm a big food guy. I like food. I eat it every day. I have listed here that the next thing we did was we fed a bird.
Oh, yeah. I think there was leftover fries and we went to the bathroom.
I must have been with our youngest because he is in a big bird feeding stage right now. And this is like the highlights. Some of the highlights of his trips is when he gets to feed birds. We now have a bag of bread in our fridge that is for him to grab.
So has he seen Mary Poppins?
I mean, he must have at some point, but I don't know if that's... Well, he should watch it again. We could show him his future. Yeah, he was consistently asking for crumbs that he could feed birds. He liked that, but that was right after Soarin'.
Yeah, and then we headed back towards, like the back part of Buena Vista Street. And I don't remember exactly what we did, but I do. Oh, when you guys were on Guardians, the youngest and I did go and get merch and our Sip and Savor pass, because we plan to do one Sip and Savor for that day, because the whole reason for this trip, to back up, because I don't think we said that yet, was because of Disneyland's Lunar New Year celebration. Our youngest is Chinese American, and so we are trying to make sure that he still has his culture celebrated. And so we're doing the best that we know how and learning along the way. But the Lunar New Year celebration does include Chinese aspects, because the Lunar New Year celebration, it includes Korea, Vietnam, and China, I believe, are the 3 countries that it includes. Okay. And that they inspire their food. Well, they also have a lot of Hispanic influence on their food at Lunar New Year.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Mexican fusion in, I feel like, just a lot of their food in general. Yeah. And it tends to really work super well with a lot of it.
Yeah. So the youngest and I went and got the Sip and Savor pass, and that gave us 6 tabs to be able to go and get other foods. And then we got the Lunar New Year pin for you, because it is your year, the year of the dragon.
Yep, year of the dragon.
And so you got a Mushu pin.
I did.
Yeah, we had to make sure to get our merch for that. And
we hit up Toy Story Mania.
Well, no, we were headed over to the back end of Buena Vista Street and towards Toy Story Mania. And because we had Genie Plus, we were on the lookout for photographers because we could get pictures.
Right.
And so the San Francisco Square bridge had a photographer by it. And so you're like, oh, let's stop there. And so we happened to all be in red. So I had my Spirit jersey on from last year for the Lunar New Year. You had yours on, and then I had gotten the boys' 2024 Dragon shirts, and they were red, and then they had a little bit of gold on them. And so we stopped and got some pictures, and they turned out so good. I loved them.
Yeah, and the San Francisco Bridge is cool. It looks like a miniature version of the Golden Gate Bridge. They turned out great. I really love how they turned out.
Yep. And she got some pictures of just the boys too. And it's just cute to see the two of them interacting. And then we headed to Toy Story Mania, where you creamed us once again.
Yeah, I consistently did really good at all the gamified rides this whole trip.
Good job.
So I was excited about that. But yeah, we did that. That's a big hit for all of us. And then we hit up the carnival games because we had told the kids that they weren't going to spend $18 at Universal Studios for a carnival game, so they could do it here at Disney California Adventure. They've got a series of carnival games, and they're like $5 each, I think. One of them is just an instant win. You play, you can get a little plushie of some sort. The other ones are sort of standard carnival games, but the one that we try to play more often than not is the squirt gun one, where you're hitting a target and then whoever aims the best for the longest period of time wins the prize. Was this the time that I was playing against Peter? Sorry.
No, this is where the boys were playing against each other.
Okay, so the two boys played against each other. Oh, this was a whole thing. I forgot about that.
Now you remember.
I remember this one. Okay.
So our oldest was winning at first, and then his aim must have been slightly off, and our youngest surpassed him right at the end, and he got Mo from WALL-E.
Oh, and this started the whole collection thing, right?
Yes.
This is a theme throughout the whole trip.
Yeah, our youngest gets Mo. That's a little robot that cleans up behind WALL-E, and eventually ends up out in space with him, doesn't he? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff and then they end up being friends. And so our youngest is just thrilled, and our oldest,
what an injustice,
did not handle it well.
He was thinking there was cheating going on, something was broken. He couldn't believe it. It lasted
a while.
Yeah,
Our youngest and I went and sat on a different bench, and Daniel and our oldest went to a different one to try to sort it out.
We had some words, and he has a hard time with things sometimes, and we kind of
And I wouldn't say you had some words. I would say that you discussed it, because usually when you have some words, that's a negative thing.
And they were trying to just reason through things and be happy for our youngest, who was excited because he doesn't normally beat the oldest at things.
Yeah. And our youngest is very good at appeasing our oldest. And so I was trying to keep him away so that he wouldn't.
Right. I mean, to the point where he at some point, right after that, was like, hey, do you want to hold on to this for the day? He did not want to give it to him, which actually is pretty odd for him. He normally, if he sees the older brother like really upset, he'll just be like, here, take this, you can have it.
And we're always like, no, you can't do that. So we do counter that as often as we can.
Yeah. This time he really wanted that Mo plushie.
Yeah.
He was so excited about it, but he was like, you can borrow it.
Yep.
You can't have it.
He was very clear about that.
It was very nice of him. Did anything happen? I know we did Goofy's Sky School after that, but I don't know if there was anything in between.
I don't think so. So I think we did Goofy's Sky School, and then I think we did Jumping Jellyfish. Well, the boys did. They like to stand in line by themselves now for that one. And then I think they went on separate seats.
Oh, yeah.
If I remember correctly.
The oldest didn't want to sit with the youngest, so they separated.
Yes, our oldest is.
He just and it's not so much that he didn't want to be with his younger sibling. It was that he wanted to be independent in that. He wanted to be separated from the rest of the family to show that he was older.
Yeah,
and so he did. Everyone was fine. They had a good old time. The three of us went on the Golden Zephyr, I think. I don't think you ended up going on that one.
No, I do not like that ride.
Yeah, so we went on the Golden Zephyr. It's just this big giant swing where you're in a Zeppelin type thing and you spin around for a while.
At that point, it was getting closer to noon. And so we headed over to the Paradise Garden Grill, and they went on the Golden Zephyr, and I went and grabbed the Kung Pao Bao bun and the barbecue pork bun, which is part of the Sip and Savor for Lunar New Year. And then the boys, so the youngest tried the food with us, and our oldest got pizza because I was like, you need to eat. And he did not want to eat. And I was like, you're going to eat. And I think that's when he got the mini pizza and really enjoyed it. And then we headed over to the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail to give them some time to run off some energy. Yeah, and so with the Sip and Savor, the portions of food that you get are not very big. So after we let the boys run off some energy, which is so funny because it's like we're trying to get them to walk, and I know we said this before, we're trying to get them to walk through the park. We're so tired, but you get them to the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail, and it's like they're gone. And you just see them whiz by every once in a while. And you're like, oh, yep, there they are. Okay, there's...
And it's such a nice place to be able to do that because there's one exit and entrance. So once you're in there, it bottlenecks. And so they can just go crazy. They can have as much fun as they want.
With a Sip and Savor, because portions are smaller, we knew that we would be doing that for our lunch and just getting all of the 6 different foods that we wanted. And we got a couple extra things, I think, that we didn't use a Sip and Savor on. So we headed over to, I think it's called Wrapped with Love. I want to say the right thing. Yes, Wrapped with Love. And we got the fried lemongrass chicken dumplings and the steamed pork and veggie dumplings. Daniel loved the steamed pork and veggie dumplings, and I loved the fried lemongrass chicken dumplings, and they were both very good. I don't think you love the lemon. Like, I think you said the lemongrass ones you probably wouldn't get again.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And most of the special food are in those food booths, if we didn't mention that.
Mm-hmm.
There are these temporary booths that they set up for festivals, and so they pop up kind of all around the park, and they've got cute little names.
Yeah, and then at the Lucky 8 Lantern, you got the quesadilla egg roll.
I did, and I got that last year as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't remember it last year, and I'll be honest, I can't really remember it this year either. I probably liked it.
I didn't even write it down, so I didn't write down your reaction. Sorry.
What a strange food. I eat it and completely forget about it. It sounds great. Like, even now it sounds great, but I would not be able to tell you much about it at all.
And after that, we decided to get some dessert. So we headed just right across because I think there's 8 booths and they're spread throughout the park. So it does require a lot of walking sometimes if you want things from different booths. And so Bamboo Blessings was right across from the Prosperity Bow and Buns where we had gotten the dumplings. And so we're like, let's just grab it since we're right here. And so we got the strawberry milk tea macaron and the taro Vietnamese style iced coffee. And
both of
those 2 things, I think we both agreed, were the best items at the festival this year.
I think in the fact that we got them both in the same sitting where we were just really hungry at that point. No,
we had just been eating.
We got both of those at least one more time.
Yes. Yep. So they were so good. So the strawberry milk tea macaron is very similar to the raspberry rose macaron, but obviously this is strawberry. It didn't have real strawberries in it like the raspberry one does. But yeah, it was just phenomenal.
I liked it better than the raspberry one.
Yeah, I did too. And our youngest did because he hates raspberries so much because he hates fruit, but he doesn't mind the taste of fruits, like the flavor of fruit. So this one he loved because there was no fruit in it.
And I think that's maybe part of why I liked it too. I mean, I don't mind whole raspberries at all. But it's a lot easier to eat something that's like a paste or a cream as opposed to like chunks of whole fruit. It wasn't falling out or anything, but it was good. It was just the right amount of sweet and tart.
And because I loved the macaron so much, I got a straw clip that looks like a macaron.
Little charm, macaron charm.
Yes. But I don't dare use it for anything because it is like a foam. So I'm afraid it's going to get destroyed. So it's just currently sitting on my dresser, but I do love seeing it. So I did throw away the straw because I was like, I don't care about the straw.
If you got 2, you could have turned them into a pair of earrings. That'd have been a safe use for them.
That'd been
They're pretty
huge
light.
Earrings.
They'd be big, but they're light.
They are light because it's foam.
What a statement.
Yeah. And then at some point in here, and we're probably going to come across this later, I don't remember, but we got the char siu style ribs at Studio Catering. And I know that was sometime around there, so we're just going to cover it now.
See, that's
so we
what
go
I've
through
got.
food.
The stuff that we just talked about, I didn't write any of that down, but I've got ribs and tumbler next.
Oh, okay. So the ribs and tumbler were then. Okay.
Was this when we lost our oldest for a second and looked over and he was at he was across the way. I lost him maybe 2 or 3 times, and from previous trips I've realized to not panic. I just go to the nearest gift shop because it's almost certainly at there hiding behind stuff. Well, we lose him. We look over across the way, and guess what?
No, I think he asked that time.
Did he? Okay.
And you might not have realized that he asked, but he had asked me.
So I looked across the way then and just see him, who is, attached a 3-foot Monsters Inc. tail to himself and is swinging his butt around, almost hitting other merchandise.
Yep.
I think, oh, great. Okay, whatever. For a second, I'm just going to leave him. We were eating and stuff.
Yeah. And then we turn around back to our food, and our youngest is gone. And that was, he did not ask.
He does not normally do stuff like this. Look across the way again, and guess what? Now there's 2 little monsters that are actively fighting each other.
With their tails.
It's like, oh no.
They're swinging the tails at each other. So I go running to stop it before they knock over part of the kiosk.
I think if you're okay with it, I might post that video. We don't normally post videos of their faces, but it's pretty far away. But I've got a video of them doing that, and then you coming into the frame running towards them.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so we put a stop to that real quick.
Yeah, we did not need to pay for broken merchandise. So then we resumed trying the char siu style ribs.
Delicious.
They were probably the 3rd best food there.
I mean,
I would
ribs just
say.
in general. I'm
Yeah.
a big sucker for ribs, and those were made pretty well.
Yeah, and for it being part of the festival, some of this food can get cold or stale, and these were perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I do not like ribs. I'm not a huge fan of ribs. So we did that, and then this year they usually have a mug for the Lunar New Year,
Mm-hmm.
and I've gotten it the last 4 years, I think. I'll order it online if we're not there at the park. And this year they didn't have a mug, but they had a tumbler. And so I convinced Daniel that he had to get the tumbler, and it is Mushu.
Year of the Dragon, yeah. And it's got a really cool lanyard. You can wear it around your neck if you wanted to.
Mhm.
It's just it's a neat little product.
Yeah.
They were really light on the merch for Lunar New Year this year,
They
especially
were.
compared to last year.
Yeah.
Last year they sort of went out. Loungefly had matching ears and bags.
Yep.
Definitely didn't have a bag this year that we saw.
No.
Did they have ears, or was
Loungefly
it just...
did not have ears, just
Okay.
Disneyland did. Yeah, and then this year, last year they had Loungefly had a bag and ears, and Disneyland had an ear set that I got.
The Spirit jersey was really cool, so I'm glad that I got it.
I'm very jealous.
Yeah, good. It's it's really cool. I love it.
It has everything's in gold print.
Yeah, it says Year of the Dragon real big across the back on a red shirt, gold print, and halfway down there's a pattern with most of the Disney character, or the Fab Five, or whatever,
Five, I think,
in sort of traditional Asian garb,
mm-hmm.
and lion costumes and stuff, dragon costumes.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So after we finished eating, we were actually right next to Mickey's PhilharMagic, and I have not gone to that in so long, and our boys had never gone. And so they're like, let's do it, because I believe the last time we were there, it was closed for refurbishment.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, okay, let's do it. And I think it was just a short wait, and we went in, and they loved it. They were laughing so hard through it.
I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because like you said, we hadn't seen it in years.
Yeah.
It was just a really solid little 3D show that
Mm-hmm.
mixed a lot of classic Disney music. Donald's like kind of going through different Disney scenes as Mickey's conducting. I don't know. It was a stark difference, even with it being an older show than the one we saw at Universal Studios, like the Kung Fu Panda one. It was a better show, and it was really good.
Yeah, it was, and that's the theater that the Muppets used to be in, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Think so.
Because there used to be a Muppet show.
Yeah. No, I remember. I missed the Muppet Show. I loved the Muppet Show.
I want to say that that's the same
Okay.
theater, but
because it had like the balcony.
I was a
it
kid
had
back
the thing
then.
in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't remember when Mickey's PhilharMagic came in, so I'm not 100%
We can Google that.
sure. Yeah.
I'm sure someone has that info out there. Yeah, but the boys enjoyed it, so that was fun.
Side note, the Muppets need a bigger presence in the park. Now, I took the boys, I don't remember where you were. Maybe you were just taking a break. I took them into the Animation Academy. We all did the Animation Academy.
Yes.
We drew Wall-E.
Yep.
Which I kept all our drawings. Our youngest was very frustrated that his didn't look perfect. For his age,
Yeah.
he did great.
He did.
It was so fun to do that with all of them. And despite him being frustrated, I want to hang on to it because it's really cute. It's his first time doing it. He does love to color and draw, so he gets frustrated when things aren't just right.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good memory of mine for this trip, was all four of us doing that.
And our oldest, he is not really a drawer, and he was totally on board for it, and he did pretty good.
He did good.
And I was like, and he didn't get frustrated because he can get flustered too when things aren't going right, and he's just like, is that good enough? I'm like, that looks great. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. And once we got our youngest, or you, because you're sitting next to him, kind of worked him through his disappointment, I think he realized that it was fun.
And then I know we did Turtle Talk for the first time, and I don't think you were there for that one.
No, I wanted to be outside, so I think I just went and sat on a bench.
Okay.
I think I was going to go get a churro and then didn't, and I don't know why.
Okay.
I think I might have been full.
Yeah. Yeah, we did Crush's Turtle Talk. They saved up, well, our oldest had questions. Our youngest does not like being in the spotlight, so he was not going to be a part of that. But he didn't get called on. He was disappointed in that, but it was fun. It was very relaxing for me. I could just kind of sit in a chair in a nice, cool, dark room, and like the underwater atmosphere was really soothing. I could have easily fallen asleep in there, but I knew that had I done so, our children would have probably headed for the nearest gift shop and put those tails back on and wrecked the place.
So Turtle Talk with Crush, can you explain that for a second? Because I have never done it.
Okay, Turtle Talk with Crush. You go in, it's the whole presentation is if you're at this ocean institute and there's a scientist that has a microphone that lets you speak to ocean life. And so Crush from Finding Nemo shows up on this giant screen, and he's there and he interacts with the kids, and they've got a live actor that does actual voice acting. They are, I know animating it is the wrong word, but they're essentially animating what happens live. So they're controlling this character on the screen and having it react and do different actions and do different things in response to exactly what the kids are saying. So it's an interesting little concept. There's some fun impromptu with it, and you don't know what the kids are going to ask. They usually ask either some pretty weird or embarrassing stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Crush really, whoever plays Crush really gets into it and has sometimes the kids like pull their parents up and ask their parents questions, and it was a fun experience, one that I think would be a lot of fun for you to see and for me to take a nap in.
After that, I don't quite recall what we did. My pictures show that we went to Cars Land, and our oldest wanted a picture with Cruz, which I don't know that I have ever seen Cruz out in Cars Land.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm just not remembering, but so he got a picture with Cruz, and then we went on the Junkyard Jamboree.
Now, we were going to use like a special lightning lane for that one. Something had happened, I think.
Right.
And there was a cast member named Abel, I have written down, that said, essentially, don't waste your lightning lane with this. Just go on. And he let us into the lightning lane without having to use our special pass so that we could save it for something else.
And I don't think we ever used it.
So this is not the first time that's happened. That was very,
no, we like get special passes
nice
and then it's like, yeah, that just doesn't happen. And we're like, we're actually going to use a special pass this time. And
so we sent him a nice cast compliment in the app, which we highly recommend you do if someone gives you a good interaction.
And then I think we headed over to Little Mermaid.
Yep, that's what I've got, Little Mermaid.
And they have a lightning lane now. So we were able to use Genie Plus to get a lightning lane for Little Mermaid.
Yeah, and they changed the entrance, which I don't love.
No, I do not. You have to walk way past the grand entrance now. And I think it's partly because it's so congested in that area that I think that's why they've moved it. And for festivals, there's booths in that area, there's lines, and I think that area is just so congested.
Yeah.
They've moved the entrance. And I've heard some other people say that they hope it's temporary for just during these festivals, but I kind of have a feeling it's permanent. But that's such a great ride. There's a lot of hidden Mickeys. So if you go on that ride, look for coral that looks like Mickeys.
Especially
really
if you're doing a clash and dash against someone and you're trying to earn some points.
And that is what I did, and it worked out well. So then we went to the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail, and I got us a special churro that was for the Lunar New Year. We were pretty excited about, and it was the orange ginger churro. And we both agreed that it was awful. I think that is the first churro we have rated as awful. The ginger chunks were huge.
Yeah, it doesn't help that I don't love ginger on its own either. Man, had it just been like an orange marmalade one,
right? That would have been amazing. So we tried to knock the ginger off and just eat the churro, but it was not good. Also, just have to complain for a second. So I'm standing in line for the churro behind a group of like 4 people, and that are all one group, and I am trying to be a line that's out of the walkway. Because those churro carts are just right off to the side, right? So you can still be in the walkway and be in line. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to stand off to the side because that's normally how you line up for things. And then I'm standing there waiting, and other people start to line up behind the 4, but into the walkway. And thankfully, the dad of the group had kind of stepped back. He'd handed money to his kids who were like teenagers, and he kind of stepped back and like kind of bumped into the people, and they're like, oh, and he's like looking at them like, why are you standing behind me? So I was glad he gave them a look. And so then the people behind him looked over at me and was like, oh, are you in line? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in line. And so then they got behind me, and I think, and like there was like maybe 3 groups of people behind him, just in the walkway lining up. And so I think those people thought that I just like came up and cut in line. And I was like, I was here before any of you showed up.
Yeah, it's strange.
And it's like people are so oblivious. And I know I've said this in other podcasts, but the entitlement of people that go to Disneyland is really starting to get on my nerves. I just like, how can anyone be so oblivious?
There's a lot of oblivious people there.
I'm just like, how do you afford to come here? I like, if you're that oblivious here, you've got to be oblivious in life too. Sorry. Get off my soapbox. It just drove me. I'm like, I am not cutting in line. I've been standing here while you all just ignore me. But
we got our delicious churro.
Ugh, yeah. Our youngest, I think, took a bite and was like, nope, I do not want to eat this. And then it was cloudy that day, and we thought it might start raining again, and then it cleared up. I do not recall if we went back for a rest time.
I don't know that we did.
So we did not go back for a rest time that day, but because we wanted to make it Lunar New Year parade.
Yeah, was it Mulan's Lunar New Year processional?
Yeah. So it's pretty much the same every year, but it's just really fun. It's about maybe like 8 minutes long, not even. And it goes from next to Guardians of the Galaxy all the way down to the Paradise Garden Grill. So it winds that whole street. Oh, that's when we were across from the Little Mermaid ride, and Five Fires was standing on the other side.
Another YouTuber sighting.
Yes. So quite excited. I don't ever have the nerve to go up and talk to people.
Yeah, I almost went to go say hi, but then I didn't.
Yeah.
So
that's our 4th YouTuber that we've seen, I think.
I think so.
Because we've seen Park Provost twice. We've seen
Disney Dad, SoCal Disney Dad.
Yeah. And Lisa Land.
We did see, that's right. We saw Lisa Land.
And Five Fires. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Have not seen Ordinary Adventures or Magical Journeys.
Yeah.
Which I would love to meet.
Well, it's Magic Journeys.
Sorry, Magic Journeys. I would love to meet either.
And then Making Magical Adventures is the one that I frequently watch,
yeah.
and we haven't seen them yet either.
Okay.
So.
We should make bingo sheets.
Try to find them in the park.
I went on the Incredicoaster, apparently. I think my notes are starting to get a little sloppy at this point. I have Parade, Incredicoaster.
Yeah, and it looks like you're alone. So did you ride single rider with our oldest?
I either went with our oldest or I went by myself.
No,
but
single
I rode the
rider with our oldest, because there are 2 pictures that you took.
Okay.
And the youngest and I went to Paradise Garden Grill because the parade was like at 8. The parade was around 5:30, somewhere around there. So that orange ginger churro was just not enough to keep us going. And so we went to grab dinner at the Paradise Garden Grill. And our youngest got the Korean style chicken for kids, and he absolutely loved it. And I think our oldest, we got pizza again at the boardwalk. Pizza and pasta. And then you and the oldest came to join us. And since our youngest was already done eating, you took him to, they have a crafts station. And usually it's more over by the Little Mermaid. But this year they put it back by Paradise Garden Grill. So there was actually chairs and tables, not just tables to do the craft on. And it was a couple of fans that he got to color in. Yeah. And he still talks about those.
He loves to color too. So this was like, it was perfect. It was a good unwinding for him.
Yeah. And while we were eating, I'm blanking on the name, but they had a live band at the Paradise Garden Grill. So it was a little bit...
New tradition.
Yes, that's what it was. So it was a little bit loud, but our youngest was dancing as he was eating.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a group of younger people that were playing like a more modern rock twist on traditional music. So yeah, new tradition. You can check them out. They said that they were on Instagram and TikTok.
And then we walked through the pier. I can't remember if we did any rides. And you and I went to Pim Test Kitchen for our dinner. Sorry, I did not. I got dessert.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, I got Old Faithful. I got the chicken sandwich.
Not so little chicken
sandwich. Yeah. Delicious. It's so good. And the tater tots.
Yes.
It's just a big chicken fillet with a little bun and some coleslaw and
sauce.
A whole bunch of tater tots and sauce. And it always hits the spot every time that we get it.
And I headed to one of the Cozy Cones over in Carsland, and I got the chimichanga.
I have chimichanga written down. I don't know where you got it from.
Well, I couldn't remember if it was a burrito or a chimichanga. So I got their chimichanga, and it's been a while since I've gotten it, but it was really good. So they didn't have it the last couple times that I was there, and I don't know why, but they brought it back finally. And then we also, for dessert, where'd it go? The Choco Smash Cake. So this took the place of the Choco Smash Bar, I think it was called. And I did not like the bar at all. It was cold and hard, and a candy bar, I don't really like cold.
I enjoyed it, but...
Yeah, it was not one that I would want to get again. Choco Smash Cake was very good, is what I have written down.
I agree with you.
I loved it.
It was really, really good.
And we had to split it in thirds because our youngest was not going to be left out.
No, he was jumping in on that for sure.
So the next time we're going to have to get a couple. Yeah, it was so tasty. So a huge upgrade from the Choco Smash Bar. And this had chocolate. I think it was chocolate cake. That might be the best chocolate thing Disneyland has made yet.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Like, I think they might have actually made something good with chocolate. They might have broken their curse.
I just realized why I'm getting so confused, too, with our trips. The last time we went was also during a festival.
Yes.
So there were those booths there, too. But it was...
Yeah, but they were all named different
I'm
things.
sitting here like, well, what about the Twix thing? But no, that was that was for Christmas.
So we ended our night with web slingers, not cars.
End our night with web slingers.
I thought the oldest and I did cars at some point. That might have been on our hopper day. I'm sorry. That might have been on the second day. Cut that out. So we finished out the night with web slingers. That's how we started. That's how we ended. And we ended at like 8:00, I think, because we didn't take a rest during the day. And we knew this was day 3 of parks.
Yeah.
And we had 2 more to go. And so we did not want to be exhausted for the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
So we did end at 8 and
headed
back to our room. And it was so nice to only have like a 10-minute walk from where we were in the park to our hotel.
Yeah. And there were instances where we spent most of our days in Disneyland, but rushed over to California Adventure to try different things. Probably go into that in more detail later. But the one instance where were we? Where in the park? Where in Disneyland was I? Where you said I would really like a strawberry milk tea macaron.
Oh, we were by Storytellers.
We were by Storybook Land.
Oh, thank you, Storybook Land.
We were by Storybook Land.
Yep.
And we looked, and there was 15 minutes left before the booths closed.
Yep.
My calves were killing me. I power walked all the way to the entrance, and then jumped into DCA and got in line right before they closed and got us 2 more
macarons.
2 more macarons.
And I can't remember if we grabbed the coffee.
That day, was that the only time I used the park hopper that day?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was just like, we agreed that it was so good.
Yep.
That it was worth me booking it through both parks. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the boys and I followed because that was Friday. And so your brother and then sister-in-law and their little guy had come, and your mom had come too that day. And so your mom had already left around like 6, and then your brother and sister-in-law, they were about to leave anyway. And so then that's when you were like, I was like, can you please go get that? And then the boys and I joined you because DCA actually didn't close till 10. So there was still another hour, but the Sip and Savor booths are only open till 9. So you got it for us. We got to enjoy that wonderful dessert one more time. We did not get the coffee that night, though. And I really wish we had, even though it was late.
I hope that becomes a staple.
Yeah.
Or at least something similar. That was really good.
Or at least like back the next
year. Yeah.
Yep. So.
Yeah, so that was the DCA portion of our trip. It's the end of the episode. We're going to go over our top 5 things that we currently like about DCA, and we're going to do it pretty quick here.
Yeah.
Same thing as last time. No, not necessarily any particular order.
Because I didn't write mine down.
You didn't write. Do you have 5?
Oh, we're going to come up with 5.
All right. Let's start with, I'm going to go with the Avengers Campus.
Okay.
As one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I would say, potentially one of the best areas for character meet and greets of any park that I've ever been to.
Yeah.
There are just so many characters that are walking around there to interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing that I could maybe compare it to would be when they put up Whoville at Universal Studios. But Whoville, it was just all a bunch of generic Whos. This year, you're running into Iron Man. You're running into Doctor Strange. You look up and you see Hawkeye. Like, there are people everywhere.
And Black Panther and Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yep. Just a consistent stream of people and interactions, and it's exciting. Even if you're not super into Marvel, it's pretty hard not to get swept up into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And our youngest does love Marvel, but he's terrified of characters. And that was the one land where I actually got him to talk to a character.
And he gets to see Spider-Man almost almost consistently every trip.
Yeah, and there's a Spider-Man show that like has regulated times that we go, and usually you can meet Spider-Man afterwards, and for whatever reason this time you couldn't. Like he ran by, gave high fives and left. But mine is going to be the Lunar New Year festival. That is one of my top things. We've done it 3 times now, and yeah, it's a great festival. There's lots of good food. The entertainment, we didn't go over a lot of the entertainment because this time we did the parade and we did the new traditions, live music. We didn't do the characters this year because the line was so long. It was pretty nuts, yeah. And I really wanted to get a picture with Mulan and Mushu, but the line, it looked like it would probably have been an hour.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I love all the pieces of that, and yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah, I'll let you go again because for my number 4, I just put festivals.
Okay.
I think that's something we get seasons in Disneyland, right? It's like, oh, it's Valentine's season. You can get these special treats and stuff. With the specific festivals and having those booths and having the specific entertainment, I think DCA does that really, really well. And it's pretty cool to be able to go and be like, hey, we're going for Lunar New Year, or hey, we're going for Festival of the Holidays, and know sort of the specifics of what you can get that's very different from anything that you would get during the standard time of year.
Okay. My next and probably top thing in California Adventures is Radiator Springs Racers. That is my favorite DCA ride. And especially in the evening, like when the sun is setting, it's amazing. Or at night too. During the day is fine, but I prefer in the evening or at night, which is something I'll briefly talk about in our next episode probably, but we did run back into California Adventure so that we could, I think the oldest and I could get on that one.
Yeah, I don't think I went on it this trip. I do really enjoy that ride as well. You didn't get to go on it last time, so we for sure wanted to make sure that you did. I'll tack onto that as well. I put Cars Land. I mean, Cars Land almost feels like it would be more at home in Disneyland with how immersive it is. I would say DCA is not as immersive of a park as Disneyland is. And Cars is like my least favorite Pixar franchise, right? It is hands down my favorite land to walk through in California Adventure. It is one of those lands that you walk into and it's like you're in the movie. You get that feeling from Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Mario Land, Galaxy's Edge, and Cars Land. And for a franchise that I almost actively dislike, I love it. So yeah, Cars Land is way up there for me.
So my next one is Pim Test Kitchen. Their cold brews are always amazing. Their Not So Little Chicken Sandwich is one of my favorite things. Their breakfasts are really good. They have Cinnapim toast, and I can't remember the calculated breakfast, I think it is, and it has bacon and a tiny, tiny little quail egg. Or is that the Cinnapim toast? I don't remember. Because we usually get it's French toast and then the eggs and bacon and stuff, and then we just split it between all of us. So we get the 2 meals, so I can't keep them straight on what has what, but they're both really good. But yeah, I just really like I don't like everything there, but the things that I do like there, I love.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have it this time. I think we got the cold brew infusion that was in November when we got that one.
Yeah.
This time they had the almond cold brew. And I think we actually got that on one of our days that we were in Disneyland and then we park hopped. So I didn't have it here, but
we'll talk about that. Yeah.
But yeah, it was still good. It wasn't amazing, but the cold brew, the almond cold brew was still good.
Yeah, they're consistently pretty high up there because around Halloween time they had that Witches of
Westview?
Witches of Westview with the marshmallow on top.
Yeah,
that was super good.
Yep. So they are consistently my go-to restaurant in that park.
My next one is Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. I loved that ride when it was Tower of Terror. I love it now. Yeah, nothing beats it. I think there's the excitement, and now that it's Guardians of the Galaxy, the ride motions and the song change up depending on which song gets played, and the set pieces, everything about it is really, really fun for me. So I love that ride.
Okay. I do not.
No, you don't.
I get so sick on it. I've not thrown up, but I definitely feel like I'm going to. So my fourth thing is the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It gives us a break, and the boys absolutely love it. So we get to sit down and rest our feet, and usually I go grab some kind of snack for us to share. And the home video you just made of our November trip, it kind of highlighted how much our boys love it. Our youngest, there's like a rope swing type thing. Zip line. There we go. And I think you videoed him every time he went on it, and it was like 5 times in a row. So I just really like it because it gives us a nice break, but the boys aren't bored, and they get to run around and have fun. And yeah, it's just, and when I was growing up, so it opened in 99 or 2001, something like that is when DCA opened. And the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail, I remember going by it, and they're like, oh yeah, it's not finished being built, but it's going to be this really cool thing. And so we went in there, and there was like, it was very plain. And so I didn't go back to there for years because I didn't realize what it was.
Right.
And now knowing, and during Halloween time, they do the Villains Grove in there. And during Christmas time, they have Santa in there, and so it's like they do different holiday things in there as well. So I just love that area.
Yeah, I think it is an example of DCA living up to the spirit of its original intention. I think they opened wanting to be like, the California park, and they had mini California and stuff. And it didn't come across just right. But now, with the way that they've modernized the park and stuff like that, they are coming into their own of what it, I think, maybe was intended to be. It's really cool. I had a really vague one that I kind of stand by, but I'm changing that because I forgot that Animation Academy is one of my all-time.
I was like, you're not going to include Animation Academy
is maybe my favorite thing to do in DCA. I love it. Again, I mean, there's those pockets of time to be able to just sit, and Redwood Challenge Trail is one of them, but so is this. I have always wanted to be an artist. Like as a kid growing up, I wish that I could draw. I don't have it. It's not something I took the time to practice, and I don't have natural ability. You can go in, and for 15 to 20 minutes, you can feel like an artist, right? Like by the end of it, you have a free souvenir that is your drawing of a Disney character that a Disney cast member artist walks you through step by step how to create your own version of it.
Yeah.
I love it. I have never disliked one of my experiences in the Animation Academy, and it was even more fun having all three of you there to do it with me this time.
And that is my last one as well, is the Animation Academy. I don't love it near as much as you do, but I do enjoy it. My dad has always drawn
he is
stuff.
He's really good,
and I don't think he does it near as much as he should. And so and he would give us little drawing lessons growing up of like, here you can, and I am not a great artist. So it is fun because it's like for that little bit of time, I can feel like I can draw because they do simplify it and make it doable for anyone. And, even our youngest can do that. I mean, he has much more natural drawing talent than either of us do. Yeah. But it's like a little kid can go in there and can figure it out.
Yeah. It is a different type of pocket of Disney magic.
Yeah.
And it's pretty unique, at least in the California parks. I kind of assume it's probably there's something similar maybe at the other parks, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Yep. And I think what we need to do, 'cause now that all of us can do it, we need to each get a little journal so that we can draw in our journal every time.
Oh, you think we should get a sketchbook?
Yep. So that it all stays in one place.
Instead of having those big pieces of paper they give you. They are cool little souvenirs
They
though.
are.
Like, and that's a list I want to do another time, is like the best cheap or free souvenirs or budget tips for Disney.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it? Was that your fifth one?
That was my fifth one.
Okay. Great. We did it. That's our DCA trip. We will be covering Disneyland the next time.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, thank you so much for listening. Oh, don't forget to follow us on social media at OfMiceandMatterhorns on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, kind of Threads. I haven't been using it a whole lot. And actually on Twitter, we are at MiceandMatterhorns. Mostly on TikTok. Like most of the stuff I post to TikTok because I like to put clips from our show with some videos. But we would love to hear from you. Email us any questions or comments to ofmiceandmatterhorns@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let us know that you listened. Thank you so much. And as always,
Have a Disney day.
Your attention, please. Of Mice and Matterhorns has now ended its normal operating episode. We thank you for your visit to our podcast and hope that the memories that you made will bring you back soon.